Jabari Jumps by Gaia Cornwall. I'm jumping off the diving board today, Jabari told his dad. Really? Said his dad. Jabari watched the other kids climb the long ladder. They walked all the way out to the end of the board, as big as tiny bugs. Then they stood on the edge, they spread their arms and they bent their knees and they sprang up, up, up. And then they dove down, down, down. Splash! Looks easy, Jabari said. And when his dad squeezed his hand, Jabari squeezed back. Jabari stood at the bottom of the ladder. He looked up. You can go before me if you want, he told the kid behind him. I need to think about what special kind of jump I'm going to do. Jabari thought and thought. Jabari started to climb up and up. This ladder was very tall, he thought. Are you okay? Called his dad. Just a little bit tired, said Jabari. Maybe you should climb down and take a tiny rest, said his dad. A tiny rest sounded like a good idea. When he got to the bottom, Jabari remembered something. I forgot to do my stretches, he said to his dad. Stretching is very important, said his dad. I think tomorrow might be a better day for jumping, Jabari said. They looked up at the diving board together. It's okay to feel a little bit scared, said Dad. Sometimes, if I feel a little bit scared, I take a deep breath and I tell myself, I am ready. And you know what? Sometimes it stops me feeling so scared and feels a little bit like a surprise. Jabari loved surprises. Jabari took a deep breath and felt it fill his body from the ends of his hair right down to the tips of his toes. Jabari looked up. He began to climb up and up and up and up until he got to the top. Jabari stood up straight. He walked all the way to the end of the board. His toes curled around the rough edge. Jabari looked out as far as he could see. He felt like he was ready. I love surprises, he whispered. He took a deep breath and spread his arms and bent his knees. Then he sprang up off the board, flying. Jabari hit the water with a splash. Down, down, down he went, and then back up. Whoosh! Jabari, you did it, said his dad. I did it, said Jabari. I'm a great jumper. And you know what? What, said Dad. Surprise double backflip is next. Hi. So today we are going to look at all things nouns. Now, there's more than one type of noun, so we'll get into that a little bit later. We'll have a look at the different kinds of nouns, but to start with, we are just going to worry about common nouns. We are going to work out what on earth a noun is, and then we are going to identify a load of nouns, and we might play some games, and then we'll do some writing with those nouns in sentences. And then we will have a look at proper nouns too. So you are going to want something to write with and something to write on today, and if it's not wipeable, then you probably want more than one because there's more than one time to write today. So now's probably the best time to get that. If you pause the video, go grab what you need and then come back and then we can just whiz on through. So a noun is a thing. So the noun is a name of a thing like hair, head, eye, eyebrow, nose, ring, nails, pen, sofa. Can you think of some nouns? Yeah, chair, window, wall, door. You're getting the idea of this. So a common noun is the name of anything. Now, as a general rule of thumb, to make it easy, I would say it's something that you could see, you could touch, you could feel, but equally lions and tigers and things like that are nouns, and I wouldn't suggest that you touch or feel them. So it's easier to think of it as just a thing. So animals, including humans in that, and then objects as well. We're going to play a little game, and in that game we are going to take 30 seconds to write as many nouns as we can. We can use things that we can see around us, or we can use things from our imagination, and the idea is to write the most obscure nouns that we can so that we don't match. So I'm going to write some nouns and you're going to write some nouns. We're going to take 30 seconds to do it, and hopefully our nouns won't match. So any nouns that you still have left that aren't crossed out, that don't match with mine by the time I finish reading my list, you get a point for. I wonder how many you can get. I wonder how many nouns we can write in 30 seconds. Let's go. Okay, remember, it's something you could see, something you could touch or feel. Okay. Yeah, absolutely right. Well, about halfway through. I haven't done nearly as well as I thought that I might with this. We're nearly there though. Okay, can you get one more in? Okay, time is up. How many did you manage to write in 30 seconds? That's pretty good. Okay, I got 9 in my 30 seconds. Probably not helped by the fact that I was still trying to talk to you. So if you have any of these, you have to cross them out. If you don't have them, you can have a point for each one that you have. So I have for each word that you have left. So I have the words fish, pen, tank, computer, flower, fan, grass, tissue and iron. Well done. That's great to still have loads left. All of the things that are around us that we can see and we can touch are nouns. We use nouns all the time, but it's important to be able to identify nouns because that helps us when it comes to adding suffixes and things like that onto words. So let's have a go at writing a sentence together and we'll see if we can identify what the nouns in the sentence are. So the sentence is, the brown dog ran away from the house. The brown dog ran away from the house. The brown dog ran away from the house. Remember that because it's a sentence, it does need a capital letter, it does need a space, finger space in between each of the words, and it does need a full stop, the little line, the little dot at the bottom of the letters or on the line if you're writing on lines at the end of the sentence. So here we go, look. The brown dog ran away from the house. So which of those words could we see, could we touch? Which ones do we think are nouns? Yeah, absolutely. The word dog. Can you see another one? The word dog is absolutely a noun. I will underline it. And the word house. Well done. So in my sentence, the word dog and the word house are my nouns. Now, in actual fact, when we have a sentence, there has to be a who and there has to be a what. And so the who is always some sort of noun. So one type of noun, common noun, the things that we can see and the things that we can touch. Then there are proper nouns. Now, that's not because they are any more proper than anything else. Proper nouns are names. The names of people, the names of places, days of the week, months of the year, and they are very special because they need to start with a capital letter, even if they are within a sentence. So your name will always start with a capital letter, even in the middle of a sentence, whereas generally words don't have capital letters in the middle of sentences. So if my sentence is, my friend Billy likes to run, then my will have a capital letter because it's the word at the beginning of the sentence, but Billy will also have a capital letter because it is his name. So my friend Billy likes to run. Now, if I were to extend my sentence, I could say that my friend Billy likes to run on Tuesdays. And the word Tuesday would also need a capital letter because the word Tuesday is a proper noun. So, days of the week, months of the year, names of people, places, continents. And like road names and things like that, but that I would count that under places. So let's see if we can come up with one of each. So can you come up with a name. Now, surnames equally are proper nouns. They need a capital letter too. So your last name. Can you come up with a name? Can you write a name down? Yeah. And then remember, it will need to start with a capital letter. A day of the week. A month of the year. A place. So that could be a country, or it could be a road name, or it could be a town, or a city. And a continent. Just because they're quite interesting. What did you get? I went for Florence as my name. Also a place, but as my name. Monday as my day of the week. May as my month of the year. England as my place. And Asia as my continent. So proper nouns need capital letters, even if they are in the middle of a sentence. So see whether or not you can write a sentence that includes some of your proper nouns, and remember to put that capital letter in. So I'll do the same. I'll do it at the side near my words. I wish I would have written my words a little bit smaller, but never mind. Yeah, remember those proper nouns all need capital letters, even if they're in the middle of your sentence. Right, here is mine. So on needed a capital letter because it was the beginning of my sentence. On Monday, Florence is coming to England from Asia. And Asia, England, Florence and Monday need a capital letter because they are proper nouns. The word on needs a capital letter because it is the first word in my sentence. And then there's one more type of noun. There's one more group of words that is useful for us to know when it comes to nouns. And these are pronouns. Now, a pronoun can be used to replace a noun to save your sentence from being super wordy. So once you have identified who your sentence is about, you can replace so if it's about Billy the cat, we can replace Billy the cat with he or she or they, or we can replace it with what we call a pronoun. So pronouns, we've got he, him, she, her, they, them. So Billy the cat was going for a walk. He wanted to get away from his owner. Florence was going on holiday. She wanted to see new places other than her home. So when we're replacing the person, it's the he, she, they. And then if we are talking about their things, then it's the him, the her, the them. So let's see if we can put together a sentence that contains all of those things, that has some common nouns, some proper nouns, and some pronouns in it. It's going to have to be relatively lengthy sentence in order to get all of those things in. So let's start with the who. So I'm going for Jabari. Oh, we're going to go for Jabari. So I'm actually going to use it at the beginning of my sentence, so it would need a capital letter anyway, but it would always need one because it is his name. So Jabari went to the swimming pool with, and now I don't have to say Jabari's dad, I can say his. So Jabari went to the swimming pool with his dad. Now dad is a weird word because I can use dad as a noun, as a thing, or I can use dad as a proper noun, as a name. So sometimes you will see it with a capital letter and sometimes you will see it without. It depends on whether or not it is being used as a name or whether we are just saying that that is who that person is. So Jabari went to the pool with his dad, and he hadn't been there since Monday. So Jabari, proper noun, went to the pool, common noun, with his dad, in this case common noun, and he hadn't been there instead of the pool since Monday. Monday, proper noun, needs a capital letter. So we can use them, we do use them all the time in the things that we say and the things that we write. Proper nouns, names of people, places, days of the week, months of the year, continents, countries, all need capital letters regardless of where they come in the sentence. Common nouns, things that we can see and touch and feel, and pronouns are the ones that replace the common nouns in our sentences to make them less cluttered and feel more like they flow. So there's a whistle-stop tour of nouns. There's lots to remember with nouns, but we use them all the time. They're probably one of the most common types of words. You did a great job today. Whatever you do with the rest of your day, have a great one. Bye-bye. Hi. So today we are going to have a look at number lines and how we use them, how we estimate what the missing numbers are. But before we get into that, it's probably really useful to refresh our knowledge of counting in 2s and 5s and 10s. So I'm going to start by counting in 10s. I'm going to use my arms in and out, but you could do star jumps if you wanted it to be a bigger movement. Okay, let's go from 0 all the way up to 100, and then we'll pause and we'll come all the way back down. Let's go. 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. And then back down. 100, 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 0. Nice job. Okay, I'm going to use one arm at a time for counting in 5s because 5 and 5 make 10. So that makes sense to me. Let's just get up to 50 this time though. Are we ready? Let's go. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Well done. Can we try coming back down? It's harder coming back down, but let's try it. 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, 0. Well done. It's tricky to count backwards in 5s, isn't it? Let's try 2s. Now you could jump, or you could clap, or you could pat your legs. My legs aren't quite high enough, so I think that I am going to clap, but I'll try really hard not to clap too loud. So 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Well done. Can we go back? 20, 18, 16, 14, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 0. Well done. It's always harder to count backwards in any given denomination than it is to count forwards. So if you're finding that really, really tricky, practice the counting forwards lots and lots and lots, and then you can do the counting backwards when you're feeling a bit more confident. So today we're going to look at using a number line. We are going to look at working out the scale of the number line, because we need to know that before we can do anything else. And then from there, we will look at being able to fill in missing numbers. So I have 3 number lines here on my board, and each one is in a different scale. So we'll start with this one at the bottom. And to start with, let's just read the numbers that are on it, and we'll see if we can work out what the scale is. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. This sounds like some counting that we just did. They're only very small. This is counting in 2s. So the scale of the first number line is 2s. What about number line number 2? 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. That one is counting in 5, so the scale is in 5s. And then at the bottom, 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. The scale for that one is in tens. Now, what I could have had is I could have also had a scale of ones. Can you think what the numbers might be if I was counting in ones? Yeah, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. There would just be one in between each one. And if it's something that I'm unfamiliar with, I can still work it out. So let's just have a look at this one. So I might have a number line where the numbers look like this, and it might be a number pattern that I'm not familiar with, like counting in 2s and 5s and 10s that I feel more confident with. It might be one that is trickier. So 0, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. And I look at that and I think that means absolutely nothing to me. I don't know what the scale is. What I can do is I can work out how many would be in between. So because this one starts at 0, it's actually quite easy because 1, 2, 3. There are 3 from 0 to 3. And I could do the same from 3 to 6. So 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is my starting number. So I don't count that one, but I count all of the other numbers that are in between, including that 1. So in between 0 and 3, there's 1, 2, 3. In between 3 and 6, there's 4, 5, 6. And so maybe my number line didn't look like that. Maybe my number line was like this. Maybe it was like this. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. And I might think, I have no idea. So I can work out the gaps by counting on. So from 4 to 8, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think this is in a scale of 4, but I'm going to use another set of numbers just to double check. So we've got 16 and 20 there. So 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, it was. Absolutely, it was 4. So it's always worth doing 2 to double check. But in that case, you don't actually have to recognise the number pattern. You can work out the scale of a number line using by counting from one number to the next. Remember, we don't include the number that we start at, but we do include the number that we get to. And I'd always double check it. I'd always do more than one. So the first thing we have to do if we want to put in some missing numbers is to work out the scale of the number line. Then we can go back to putting that number in. So if we're looking at one that has missing numbers, let's start with one that has that is a scale that I know we know, and I'll just leave one missing for now. So if we're looking at one that has missing numbers, then obviously it's not going to be as easy to spot the pattern because there's only 2 here that are together. So we've got 10, 15, 25. Now, I think I know what the scale is because I know a rule about counting in 5s where it will end in either a 0 or a 5. So I think that it's counting in 5s, but I'm going to double check it. So from 10 to 15, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now, I can't double check it because I don't have enough numbers in it, but I can double check it once I've put the number in. So to fill in my missing number on my number line, I think it's in a scale of 5s. So I'm going to count 5 on from 15 in exactly the same way as I do to calculate what I think the scale is. So 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So I am going to put 20 in there, and then I can double check that I got the scale right because I know this gap here is 5 and I know this gap here is 5. So all I'm checking is that the last one is also 5. So I know this one is 5 because that's the one that I counted to start with to try and work out the scale. I know that one is 5 because I put that in. So now I need to double check that this one is 5. And if it is, then I know my number line to be spot on. So 20 to 25, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Yeah, absolutely. It is 5. So I worked out the scale. The scale was 5s, and then I counted on from the last number that was there. That gave me that number, and then I double checked by counting how many from the number I put in to the next number on the number line, just to check that I was right, because I might not have been. So it's always good to have a double check if we are unsure. So let's see what we can do with a number line that has a different scale. So this time it won't be a scale of 5s, so let's see if we can work out what the scale is. Now sometimes if we're drawing a number line really well, the distance between the numbers will also be really useful. So if the distance between the numbers is close together, then it will be a small scale, and if it's far apart, then it will be a bigger distance apart. However, sometimes they're not drawn to scale, so in which case that wouldn't really work. Okay, let's have a look at this as a number line then. So, okay, on this number line, I have got a couple of numbers missing. Now, this is a much bigger number line, and it actually has quite a big chunk here that I might be able to use to help me. So it's 6, 8, 10, 14, 16, 18, 20, 24. Now, I can actually, there's a big enough section there that I can spot, and I can also use it to help me double check. So between 6 and 8, 6, 7, 8, 2. Between 14 and 16, 14, 15, 16. Right, I'm pretty sure that my scale is a scale of 2. So I'm going to start on my 10 and count on 2 more. So 10, 11, 12. And then the same for 20. 20 is the number that's on there. 20, 21, 22. There we go. Now I have a complete number line on a scale of 2. It would be exactly the same if I was doing it for 10s or whatever else it might be. But there is another way that we can use a number line where it's got significantly bigger jumps. So for example, if I have this here and this here, and then the mark is here. So 20 is here and 30 is here. So the first thing to do is work out the scale. So from 20 to 30, I don't need to do that. I know it's 10. I know there's 10 in between 20 and 30. So my scale is 10. So between here and here, there are 10. So I know that exactly halfway between 20 and 30 is 25. So I know that exactly halfway between is 25. Therefore, I know that my number here is bigger than 25. So in actual fact, it is about in the middle. So it's going to be about, is it in the middle or is it a little bit, I don't know that it is. I think it's a little bit before the middle. Let's have a, yeah, I think the middle point would be about here. If I draw it really big, I think the middle point would be about here. So I think that I could draw in the lines. Here we go. I've drawn that. Oh, that one's not quite right. Here we go. I think I could draw in the line. So I think we would have 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. And this was my original line here. So it would be 27. But I don't need to have drawn in all of the lines. I'll just show you again with a different example, because what we're doing is we're estimating. So I would estimate that that was greater, it was bigger than 25. It was definitely less than 30, but in actual fact, I think that it was less than 28 because it was less than halfway between the two, and halfway between the two would technically have been 27.5. Okay, so we'll keep the numbers the same. So I have 20 here and 30 here, but my line is here this time. So I know that smack bang in the middle is 25. And remember, we're only estimating. So 25, it's going to be less than 25. And in actual fact, it's closer to 20 than it is 25. So it is more likely to be 21 or 22 than it is any of the others. And if I look, there is a significant gap here. So I would my estimate would be that this number here would be 22. It is as simple as that. You can play around with number lines, you can get people to challenge you, you could challenge other people. But remember, work out the scale, look for the number before, count on in the scale, and then you'll be able to find that. And if you're doing one where it's a really open one, then find a midpoint that you know, and then you can estimate from there. Whatever you do the rest of your day, have a brilliant one. Bye-bye. So today we are going to have a look at floating and sinking, and in order to do that we are going to need some water. So in my tray here I have some water, and we can see the water line is about here, and then if I put my finger down to the bottom we can see the things at the bottom. I use two words though already. I use the word float and I use the word sink. Now I read a story this week called Jabari Jumps. It's a brilliant story, and if you haven't listened to it, then you should. But it's all about a little boy who wants to dive off the diving board. Now, he has to find his brave in order to do that. But when he jumps off that diving board, will he float or will he sink? Will he go on the top of the water or will he sink towards the bottom of the water? Absolutely, he will sink. So he will bob back up to the surface. He will float. But to start with, he's going to sink. Now that's partly because he's jumping in, but some things will float really well and they'll stay at the top of the water, and other things, they just sink to the bottom. So I thought we'd have a go at looking at different things that I found around the house, and we'll do some predicting and then we'll do some observations and we'll see whether or not they float or whether they sink. So let's start with something easy peasy. So I've got a pair of tweezers here. They're metal tweezers. If I put them in the water, will they float or will they sink? What's your prediction? There they are, look. What do you reckon? Let's find out. Oh, they sank. They are down here at the bottom of the water. They absolutely sank. Yes, they did. She'll take them out so that the water's not super busy, but we'll put them to one side and then we'll know which ones were which. Oh, okay, they sank. Oh, well, in that case, I also have a tool. And this is metal with a rubber handle. And this feels heavy. These didn't feel heavy, but this feels heavy. Wonder if that matters. What do you think will happen? Shall we find out? Oh. It sank. All the way to the bottom, it sank. We'll pop it on there and give it a good old dry. Oh, okay. So far, both of my metal things sank. What about fruit? What about an orange? What do you think will happen to my orange? Do you think my orange will float or do you think my orange will sink? Let's find out. How interesting. My orange is actually bobbing around on the water. It hasn't sunk. I have to push it to sink, and if this was taller, then it would be floating, even though it actually feels like quite a heavy piece of fruit. Oh, how interesting. Okay, what else do I have? Oh, I have a glass. What do we think will happen to the glass? Do we think the glass is going to float on the top, or do we think the glass is going to sink to the bottom? It's quite thick. Oh no, straight away, all the way to the bottom. We can see it on the bottom here, look, and you can't see any of the shape on the top of the water. It's completely sunk. Oh dear. I'll put that with the metal things. What else do I have? Oh, I have the thing that was in the glass. I have a candle. The candle is made of wax. Do you think that that will float, or do you think that that will sink? Make your prediction. Let's see. Can you see that? Look, if I move that over this side. That candle is floating on top of the water. That candle is definitely a similar weight to those. So maybe it's not about weight after all. Okay, so my candle floats. What about my chilli? Can you predict what you think will happen to my chilli? Look at that. It's just floating around the top. So my chilli floats too. That's definitely as heavy as those tweezers, if not more. So I really do think that it is less to do with weight and maybe more to do with something else. What else do I have? I have the tissue that I've been cleaning the whiteboard with. What will happen to this? Will this be the same as all of my other things? No? Ooh, that's a really interesting idea. So my tissue at the moment, we think will probably float on the top, because if I threw it up in the air, it would float back down very slowly, wouldn't it? That's really good reasoning. But will it stay on the top of the water? No. And the reason that it won't stay on the top of the water is because my tissue is absorbent. My tissue will soak up the water in a way that none of my other things so far would have done. And once it soaks up the water, then it will turn to mush and sink to the bottom of the water, because then it will absorb the water. You're absolutely right. And then it would be much denser. If I squished all the water out, then we wouldn't get quite such a big thing. So it will float initially, and then it will sink all the way to the bottom. Let me squish the water back out of there. And now look, it's nowhere near as light and floaty as it was before. So my tissue sank. What about this? This is the metal bit that the candle came in. What will this do? It will float around the top of the water until, if there was a hole in it, then it would no longer float on the top. If there was water on the inside of it, it would no longer float on the top. It would sink to the bottom because it would fill with water. We'll have a look at that in a bit more detail in a different video. We'll do a whole investigation about it. What about pumpkin seeds then? These are only really, really little. Oh, they've all sunk to the bottom. You see them down here? Look, these are all on the bottom. I can touch them, but my fingers have to go all the way in order to do so. So those pumpkin seeds are teeny, teeny, tiny. They're the smallest thing that we put in our water, and yet they sank. So that leads me to believe that it is not to do with size, nor to do with weight. So why do some things sink and some things float? Well, it is all to do with the idea of density and buoyancy. So all things are made up of molecules. Absolutely everything is made up of molecules. And in some things, those molecules are really tightly packed together. And in other things, those molecules are free and loose to move around. In the items where the molecules are pushed together, they are densely packed together. This is a dense object. It has a high density And this is not. This has a low density. So an object that has high density, where the molecules inside it are squished really tightly together, will sink. And an object where the molecules inside it are not all tightly squished together, has low density, will float. Because when it hits the water, the molecules have the space to sort of move around, and therefore they can keep it afloat. Whereas this one, they don't have anywhere to move, and so the item sinks to the bottom. The difficulty lies in knowing which ones will be dense and which ones will not. So which ones will have a high density and which ones will have a low density. Because, let me let you into a little secret. Now, my dish is nowhere big enough and I also don't have one, but if my dish were to be bigger and I were to have a watermelon, my watermelon would float. Because a watermelon has low density. So my watermelon, even though it is big and it's heavy, my watermelon wouldn't sink like my pumpkin seeds sank, because it is low density. So now my question changes slightly. Do you think my lip balm is highly dense? Do you think it's got a high density, or do you think it has a low density? The result will be the same. Will it sink or will it float? But do you think it has a high density or a low density? Shall we find out? Did it have a high density or a low density? Exactly, it had a low density. It floated. It stayed at the top of the water. What about a plum? Do you think the plum will have a low density or a high density? Good predicting. Let's find out. Oh, that plum is very definitely touching all the way down. I can see it at the top, but that's because it's a bit fat. There's no push there for me. It's right at the bottom. So the plum has a high density. The plum sank. What about an apple? Maybe think about things that you already know. Maybe think about games that you might have played. Don't get caught out by just thinking, well, it's bigger than the plum, it must sink. Maybe it does. High density, low density? Let's find out. Now, this apple actually sank, and this is not what I expected to happen, but it might be because of the amount of water that's in there. So maybe if there was more water in the container, maybe this would have floated. And the reason that I was thinking that was because I have played a game where you put apples in water and then you bob for them, so you try and grab them and they float on the top of the water. That's why I thought that one would float on the top. Do you think that it is only solid things like these objects that float and sink? Or do you think maybe some liquids might float and might sink? Here's a little brain teaser for the last little bit. Water, honey, and oil. Which will go to the top, which will be in the middle, and which will go on the bottom. I'm going to draw it as a diagram rather than try it, because I would need to use an awful lot of oil and honey in order to succeed at this experiment, and I don't have that much of either. So which one do you think will be on the top? Which one will be in the middle? And which one will be at the bottom? Remember, the one that is at the top will be the one with the lowest density. That'll be the one that floats. And then the one at the bottom will be the one with the heaviest density. That will be the one that sinks. Let's have a look. Is this what you thought? The water will stay in the middle, the honey will sink to the bottom, and the oil will float to the top. new. So everything has molecules, either loosely packed together with a low density or tightly packed together with a high density. And if it has a high density, it will sink. And if it has a low density, it will float. Whatever you do with the rest of your day, have a brilliant one. Maybe you could try some floating and sinking too. Bye-bye.
Hello, Angel students. Today's lesson is about body scan. So a body scan is a type of meditation. It's usually used in the beginning of a meditation to get you relaxed enough to get into meditation, but you can actually use it as a meditation. I find that it keeps you very much in the present moment, which is extremely important. It's a great tool to be able to have in your toolbox, because a lot of the time our minds are wandering everywhere all the time throughout the day. If we're not thinking about what happened this morning, we're thinking about what happened last week. We could be thinking about what we want to happen at the weekend. We could be thinking about what we would like to eat, or I need a drink. So it keeps you in this specific present moment. So what I would like us to do from the very get-go, because I really want us to get into this, I really want us to relax into this and have a very, very relaxed lesson today, but one that keeps you in tune with yourself and with your body. So as we go through this practice, we are going to do so with no judgment, just present moment feeling and sensation. So what I need you to do, as with any meditation, is to find a quiet space and a comfortable place. This time, however, I would prefer, if you are able to do so laying down flat on your back with your arms comfortably by your side, or you can have them laying on your stomach. It's up to you, just as long as you're comfortable, but laying on your back. And somewhere, of course, where you will not be disturbed or interrupted, because we're going to get very deep into this. And as always, I will walk you through it, I will talk you through it, but remember, whenever your mind wanders, it's okay. Once you hear my voice again, just pick up where you left off. So pause the video if you need to and find your quiet space, lay down flat on your back, and we will get started. Okay, Angel students, by now I hope that you have found your quiet space and your comfortable place to lay down flat on your back with your hands by your side as we begin this body scan meditation. Now, before we begin, I would like you to just relax. Just make sure you are 100% comfortable, breathing normally for the time being, hands relaxed in a comfortable position. So just make sure any wriggling about you need to do, any readjusting you might need to do, you do that now before we begin. Okay, all right, so to begin, we're going to take deep breaths. After, breathing will resume to your normal and natural pace of breathing. And then I will talk you through all the parts of the body that we are going to focus on as we do this body scan from beginning to end. And all you need to do when we are focusing on a specific part of the body is just really feel into it. Send it love and peace and joy, and then just enjoy the feelings and the sensations that come with that. If you don't have any feeling or sensation, that is perfectly fine. Just continue to focus on that specific part of the body that we are talking about at that given time. That's all you need to do. Okay, so let's begin with our deep breaths. Deep breath in and out. In and out. Deep breath in and out. Deep breath in and out. Deep breath in and out. And just resume your normal and usual pace of breathing. Now, if you haven't already, please do close your eyes, and we're going to begin by focusing on your head. So focus on the crown of your head, the very top of your head. Just send it love and light and peace. If you happen to feel anything, don't judge it, just feel it. Now we're going to move to the forehead. Just focus on the area of your forehead. Again, sending love and peace. And move down to your eyes. Just focus on the area of your eyes. With your eyes being closed, you may be able to see shapes and colors. Now we move down to our nose. Focus on the nose area, the air going in and out as you breathe. And just relax there for a moment, breathing at your own natural pace. And there's a sense of gratitude there for the ability to breathe and what our nose does for us, and sense of smell and the inhale and the exhale. And we come to the mouth. And just focus on your mouth, teeth, tongue. To the ears. Perhaps now you can hear other sounds now that you are focusing on the ears. And that's okay. That's what our ears are for. And we move from our ears to our neck. And just focus on the neck and fully relax the neck. Allow your head and neck to sink into the foundation beneath you. And whilst we focus on the neck, we can go down into the back and the backbone, the very support of our body. And relax even deeper into the surface beneath you. And just focus on the area of your back. Continue to notice any sensations you feel and the joy and gratitude you have for all these different parts of our bodies and what they do and the roles that they play in our wellness and every day-to-day being. And focus on your shoulders, your arms, your hands and your fingers. Allowing your hands, your arms to relax even deeper. And just release. And focus on your heart area. Send love to your heart, kindness to your heart, thankfulness to your heart for all that it does. Just focus on the heart area, even if you cannot feel your heart at this specific time beating. Just focus on the area of it. to the thighs and the knees, our legs, and the hugely important part our legs play in our everyday life. And relax deeper into the surface beneath you. Relax your legs. Relax your feet. Perhaps they fall to opposite sides, but just completely relax and let everything just sink into the surface beneath you. Continue to send every part of your body love and health, working in 100 optimum health. And focus on your feet, on your toes, on the soles of your feet. Thank your body for all that it does for you. And just lay here for a moment. And now, I just want you to slowly and gently start to wiggle your hands, your fingers, your toes, rotate your ankles and your wrists ever so gently, ever so slowly. Move your head from side to side again, gently and slowly. And when you are ready, you may open your eyes. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed today's body scan, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye-bye.
Hi everyone, here's a video for the Angel School. And for me, let's do the one breathing exercise first. Try to bend your knees, hands up. Breathe in through your nose. Then relax your shoulders, elbow, hands push all the way down. Whole body relaxed. And let's do a quick exercise for the joints. Starts with 1 foot wide. Exercise your wrists and ankles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exercise the knees. 1, all the way down. 2, 3, 4, 5. Change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, change, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, elbow up, hands reach out far as you can, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, one hand higher, one hand lower, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Follow your elbow look back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Keep your arms straight, relax your shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Shoulders down, head up, neck. Slowly. 1, 2, 3, change. 1, 2, 3. Roll your shoulders. 1, 2, 3, change. 1, 2, 3. Good. And knee up. Let's do a quick warm up, like a knee stretch. 50, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, So when you do by yourself, you can do 100, 200, but we'll do a little bit less. And now let's do a quick exercise for your legs. Squats, 1, all the way down, all the way up, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, good. Remember the first Kung Fu stance, 3.5 foot one. Bend your knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Face anyways. Feet together. Let's do 10 times. 1, then 2 knees. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And this is the first Kung Fu stance. This is the second one. One leg bent, one leg straight. 1, 2, when you feel stretch, focus on your breathing. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. And And this time, marble change to combo 10 times. Keep your face on your waist, bend your knees, change, back leg push the floor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And if you feel more comfortable, you can go a little bit lower in the future, it's about 90 degrees, and change. Yeah. Keep lower stance. In the beginning, you just do halfway, no problem. So let's do a quick stretch. Bend your knees. Join out with 1 foot forward. Then forward from your hips. Stretch your hamstring 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Let's practice a little bit balance. 10 seconds. Keep your left knee up. One hand hold your knee. One hand hold your shoes. Stay there. 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, good. Relax your back. Now let's practice the kick. Facing waist. Right hand touch your right shoes. Okay, 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you practice by yourself, you can do more, yeah? Change leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, now we're gonna do the kick with the comfort stance. First one, kick. Kick your right leg forward. Elbow, block and punch. So, 5 times. 1, elbow, 2, punch, 3. Okay. 4 more times. 1, elbow, 2, 3. 1, 2, elbow, 3, punch. 4. 1, 2, elbow, 3, punch. 4. 2 punch, 3. So you can do exactly the same for our left leg. Same. This time left hand, touch your left shoes. When you finish, left leg forward, then block, punch. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 3 more times. 1, elbow, punch, stop. 2 more times. 1, elbow, punch, stop. Last one. 1, elbow, punch. Inhale and exhale. So last time we practiced the routine, yeah? So now we're gonna put them together. So follow me. Let's walk in through together a few times. First, elbow stretch. 2, both leg bend, block. 3, punch. 4, kick. 5, elbow. 6, punch. 7, step back, block again. Right hand block. Stand up, facing your waist, still same. Kick your right leg, and elbow again. This time you punch your left hand. And stop. Okay, let's do 2 more times. 1, elbow. 2, block. 3, punch. 4, kick. 5, block. 6, punch. 7, block. 8, stand up, kick, marble, and punch, and stop. Try last one. Breathing out when you strike. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, punch, 10. Okay, let's practice 3 breathing exercises. Follow me. 2 foot point. Keep your foot pointing straight. Take your hands, breathing in, collecting all the good energy into your body. Breathing out, relax your shoulders, the elbow, hands push all the way down. Keep your body upright. 2 more times. Breathing in through your nose. And breathing out through your nose. And last one. Breathing in. And breathing out. Okay. Breathe together. And well done.
Please like and subscribe so you could get more and more